put in their suggestions. So first of all, thank you for tuning in, coming on a Monday evening. I know not much is happening in terms of the markets, but I know a lot of people now put a lot of their admin work on their Mondays. A few things that we want to kind of bring to the forefront. The first thing that we want to be able to address is how Trade House is sort of going to run from here on in. Um, Even though the decree has been laid that, try and put a bit more emphasis into the main group and whatnot, we feel like it's not working, and we feel like momentum is like half still. And so to be able to make this work more, we're going to do it in a two-step fold. Okay, so every trade house now is going to have their own Telegram group, and I'm going to be in that group so I can monitor everything that's going on. The reason why that needs to be done is because we've had a few instances where people have set up their own WhatsApp groups, and then when they want to leave, they just run off with everybody, and it ain't right. And secondly, it will save you guys from having to repeat yourselves when it comes to certain instructions, because we can use our own Smurf bot to run the particular announcements pertaining Trade House and all that other stuff. So I thought going forward, that will be the way. All the Trade House Telegram groups have already been made, and it's simply just a matter of letting your Trade House know that, hey, we're migrating to this group, and I'll try and be there and pay attention, but there's like over 15 or 20 of you, so I can't really have all my attention on there. The other thing you have to make sure, and that's something that Iberi and I think Solomon highlighted, and that was the idea that we need to make sure that we are focusing on those who are regularly attending Trade House, like they are one of you. We don't want a situation where there's one person in 10 different Trade House groups. It's not going to make any sense, and what that's going to do is it's going to justify everyone being in every group. And so what you guys as leaders would have to monitor is that if you are in Harare, you stay in the Harare group chat. If you're in Bulawayo, you stay in the Bulawayo one, okay? That way, it's a lot more concentrated. The Trade House leaders know the people personally, so they'll be able to know who's in and who's out, sort of thing. And that way, there's a nice flow of momentum that is rocking. So for now, the directive is that if there are any existing WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups outside the ones that we've made, you're going to discontinue them, but you're going to tell everybody, hey, there's a Telegram group particularly for our Trade House that's going to be running, okay? Luca or myself will post all the links of the respective trade houses. Please, like, everything starts from the top. If you're not respecting the rules, I can't expect other people to respect the rules. So if you're in Kumasi, you stay in Kumasi. I don't want to see leaders in 4 or 5 different groups. It's not going to make sense. Secondly, what was I going to say? To do with Trade House. There was a lot on the agenda. Secondly, Trade House leaders, I need you to be just monitor who's coming, who's not, how they're doing mentally, and all that other stuff. Psychology is a big aspect of what we do in Forex. And so checking and see how people are doing, or even if you can nominate someone to be like a welfare person, that will do a whole lot of good. Now, if you have someone who is attending Trade House, but is not identifying themselves as a regular Smurf House villager, or is not even a regular, they are not to be in your Telegram group. You are to put them in the main Telegram group, okay? So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and spread the energy evenly across so that the main group is benefiting of some form of value. As you can already tell, I'm doing a lot. You can't really expect me to be focused on the private group and then webinars and then doing one-on-ones and then doing boot camps and then doing events, and then for me to then focus my energy on the main group. I would like all of you as leaders to be able to share the responsibility to say, hey, let's keep the momentum up. Hey, how's your trading going? Hey, A, B, C, D. And that's something I really expect all leaders to be able to do, because it's not fair that when I was sick all of your input was down, every single one of you. And it just shows that if you guys are telling me to take a rest, there's a massive void that is in the equation that I won't allow me to take a rest. So you need to really be able to fill in the gap and help each other out when it comes to that area. Another thing that's going to start happening is that like live sessions, as I've put out, is going to be done by the leaders in the house. What this does is it edifies the leaders and it elevates them to a level where they are looked at as like revered icons in the village. I don't want a situation where it's okay, Papa Smurf is there, it's a full house, and then all of a sudden someone else is coming to do a webinar and only 5 people show up. It's not nice. And the reason why that happens is because the main speaker is always at the forefront and not taking the back seat to allow others to lead. So Solomon from Lagos is going to start tomorrow. He suggested that, hey, you know what, I'm going to be in Trade House anyway, and we're going to look at live trading. So what we can do is then we can use the same link to be able to invite everyone into our Trade House. And I think that's a very good idea. I think it would be a good idea for us as a village to invite the whole village into your Trade House so they can see what is going on. It is a massive prospecting tool, and people in the main group may not be comfortable with going to Trade House yet because they don't know what's involved. But if they see what is happening in your particular Trade House, you can then win them over. Okay, so I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember mentioning Solomon and Silicon and Eugene and Fred. I'm not sure if I mentioned Roddy, but Roddy definitely is going to be one of those guys that I want to be able to allow you guys to do live webinars. You guys are gifted, you guys are smart, and you guys will probably be able to teach in areas better than I can. And I would like to take the step back and be a supporting role to say, yep, this guy's doing a webinar, I'm listening in, I endorse this person. It'll do a lot of wonders for the village as well. Another thing is that there are a few things. Okay, I want to mention this notion, and I know we've mentioned it a few times. Okay, a few of the ladies saying that they can't get in. Hold on, let me share the link. Another thing I want to be able to highlight is I want you to look at Trade House as an extension of the body and not your personal property, right? The main reason why a lot of things have folded is because people look at it as this is my Trade House because it's in my area and I am the leader. And Trade House should not be looked at like that. Trade House should be like, no, we're part of a corporate body, and whatever is starting from the top, we are making sure it's funneling through. Okay? And so as that's funneling through, I want you also to start developing relationships with other trade houses, because it will go to a time where maybe, for example, Chumesi is in Kumasi and he's coming to Accra. It'll be nice for him to be a special guest at Marina Mall, and maybe one day Ma Lydia will be in Kumasi and she can be a special guest there. But having that relationship so that each trade house is edified will allow that to happen. In the past, people have made it such that their trade house or the trade house that they're running is their own personal property, and everyone in that trade house belongs to them, and nothing can be done without them. And we don't want that. We want this village to be a working, flowing unit that can continue the momentum, and from there we can spawn off and give birth to other trade houses in the area. Also, one thing that we need to emphasize on is the glorification of products that are running. Okay, a lot of things are happening behind the scenes, and a lot of money needs to be financed into that, and like 90% of the profits is going into that. So for example, this hub that was created and the other hubs that are going to be created are used from Smurf Village money, and sometimes even my profits as well. And so what we want to do is make sure that there is a need for people to always want to grow. Okay? No problem. that we need to have that need for people to always want to grow. Now, in all of our Forex journey, you guys will know that when it comes to the value we are giving and the price that we're putting onto it, no matter which part of Africa you come from, it is very, very cheap. It is very, very cheap. And so the goal as a trade house is to make sure that your guys are running at a level where they are taking on the products so they can become a product of the product. Okay? When it starts to become an independent run thing, then it's going to be very, very hard to then help different regions get to that level where we need to get them to. And what level are we talking about? We're talking about graduating from having just a trade house and evolving into a trade hub. And so the one that I was able to open and build is kind of like the guinea pig or the test dummy that will be the prototype for all houses to be built on. Okay, I've been working with Fred. I've been working with Eugene. I've been working with Silicon. I've been working with Mama Tonya on establishing, and we won't give too many details, but making this into a franchise. Why that? It is going to give the opportunity for a leader to develop an income. Why is that important? Because you're going to realize that the more you are teaching and the more you are facilitating, the less time you have on your charts. And I understand that that is a big, big proponent behind why a lot of things are not happening the way that they're happening. People are not motivated because, quote unquote, they're not getting paid. And neither am I, okay? We're doing this for the push of this ministry, but on top of that, I want to be able to strategically position leaders in a place where they can own a hub. All right? The specifics are still being worked on by myself and the board. It will pretty much be that all the profits that run through, the Smurf Village gets a percentage, and you as the franchisee get the majority. You can use that to be able to then fund your own event. You can pay for radio advertising. You can use that to chop and eat. You can use that for competitions. You can buy people phones. You can feed the homeless. As long as that is now providing a source of income for you as a leader. Now, there are a couple of people I've spoken to in private who are interested in the idea, and they're saying, hey, like, we want to have a gaming center or an internet cafe. With the hub, you can do whatever you like, as long as you are aware that there is a percentage split, which is a smaller percentage goes towards the village because you're using the Smurf Village name to be able to run the brand, and then the rest of it goes towards you. And when you guys see how this is broken down, it's going to marvel your mind as to what the Smurf Village is actually trying to do. Forex, like I've always been saying, is the means to the end. And we want to be able to help you guys as leaders. And this would be my way, the village way of saying thank you for your service, to now allow you to live the life and to be able to get the income that you deserve. I just want you to bear with me on that. I know like Fred is here. I know Eugene is here. They've seen the draft of how this is working. They've seen the potential of how this can go. And if we can all put our heads together, that the aim for a lot of the leaders here that want to be able to embark on their journey is that you all become franchisees to then own a portion of the Smurf Village, your stakeholders. And so that can be an income that you can use for whatever you would like. So those are pretty much the main points. First, for those who came in, we are going to now have trade houses running off our Telegram platform. Everything's going onto Telegram. So we're going to pretty much shut down the existing trade houses that you now have. And then you're going to migrate into the trade houses that we've created for you. There is a bot that is there. So you can use that bot, and Luca will program the bot to say whatever you want. So pretty much reminder of trade house this week, or you can say, have an encouraging message, or if you set homework, you can use the bot to remind you of homework and whatnot. Or if you guys are paying dues, I know some trade houses are paying like monthly dues or whatever, you can use the bot to be able to remind your trade house to do that. It's going to be far easier for you as a leader, but don't neglect the main group as well. Okay. And secondly, as some of you have been able to highlight, your concern is that people are just coming and going into different trade house groups. So you guys as trade house leaders know the people that are there. And so you should be able to distinguish quickly who is in this particular trade house and who is not. And trust me, if you keep a tight ban on all these things, your trade house is not going to fall flat when there is no momentum, because everyone is one well-oiled machine. Everyone knows the vision, everyone knows where they're going, and so there won't be any distractions. Distractions start coming when people start entering and doing all these other things, which was the main reason why we decided to say everyone use your profile picture and everyone use your full name, because it is very unlikely that you using your picture and your full name will do some of the things you will do if you were hiding behind an alias. And you can see that criminal activity has gone down a little bit. Another point to mention is that online bootcamp is out, okay, and it's on the private YouTube link, so people can't just pirate like before. The rhombus theory and the rectangle theory are also going on YouTube, and I'm going to start working on mastery components as well, okay? So a lot of things are going online, and they're going to be heavily protected so we can reduce piracy. And finally, for today, I want to be able to say that Nigeria, I'm looking to come back very, very, very soon, like very, very, very soon. So we want to be able to plan for a tour in Nigeria for a few weeks to be able to do some like awesome things. I spoke to Solomon this morning. He gave me a nice chat about some one or two things. Awele is also involved with some of that chatter. So that's going to be working really, really well. And Zimbabwe, I'm looking to come towards the end, like September-ish, around there, and then factor that into South Africa as well, which will have a new leader coming on board. So those are pretty much all the things I wanted to be able to highlight. I wanted to now open the floor to you guys to see if you want to address anything or ask anything or contribute something. The floor is pretty much yours. But I hope we're all cool with some of the new changes that are about to come. If you are, drop a 111. Nobody's cool. All right. So I kind of want to open the floor. If no one's got anything to contribute, I want to open the floor to Eugene and Pastor Frederick if they just want to address anything that they may have noticed or any words of encouragement of any form before anyone else has anything to say. And then from there, closing remarks, and then I'll let you continue enjoying your Monday. Eugene, Freddie's saying after you. So these guys are 2/3 of our board who are doing amazing work. Hey, Eugene.
Good evening, Papa Smurf. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good, boss. How are you?
I'm fine. Okay, I think Papa said most of it, but generally the consensus is that we need to sort of have uniformity in our communications. That's the whole idea about Telegram, because you find that WhatsApp is like a third party to how the village is currently being run. It's holding out Telegram, everything Telegram, and WhatsApp becomes obsolete in that sense. And in the sense of trade hubs, that's something coming. It's huge. It's very important in the movement of this village as a whole, and also the main Telegram chat group. Yeah, more emphasis was put on that. We really need to keep the momentum up in the event that Papa is not around, and his absence need not be filled, because we are here as the leaders. We need to be there in his absence. I think Fred will add some more.
Thank you, Eugene. That's great. I think the essence of what virtually we all want to say has been captured by Papa from the beginning. But we want to reiterate as being seen as presenting one front, because the last time we had a board meeting, I was telling Papa that everything rises or falls on the leader. And so where Smurf Village will go, to the extent which we will grow and everything, it's all going to boil down to us as leaders. And so if we don't sort of put our houses in order and come to the game as leaders, there's a lot of things that's going to be lost. For example, it's true we are all busy doing stuff and all that, but leaders must be seen to be trading. I particularly feel strongly about that. That a Smurf village leader who is not trading, or at least even if you are not trading, you must be seen to be charting, be putting charts in the page, be visible to a certain extent. Let people see that these are the main people in the Smurf village, and we know them because not just because Papa knows them and he has appointed them, but they are leaders because they know their stuff. Okay, so all of us must be seen to be putting in that effort. It's not easy, but I think that at least once or twice in the week, just put up something, and then let you be known for that. I think in the end, I came to be more known in the village because I kept posting charts, drawing rectangles every single day and all that. So I think every one of us as leaders must get. And the second or then the last thing maybe I'll talk about is, like Eugene said, the momentum. If we want Papa to rest, or if we want Papa to move on to higher heights, then we must now come up to his level. Okay. Otherwise, until we take over some of the things he's doing now, he can't even move forward, because every time he tries to move forward, he will have to then be looking back to cover up things that are not being done. So even wanting him to move ahead with things he wants to do, it will depend on us as leaders, stepping up our game. We should have leaders doing boot camps, not only in your trade house. Maybe Papa has to go to America, and another section in Ghana needs to have a boot camp. Must he go to America and come and do the boot camp? When there are leaders over 37 or 30 elders in Ghana who could have covered up for him. Do you get it? So let's all get the boot camp, the online boot camp. Let's soak it. Let's learn it. Me, anytime, even on the webinars, that's all. I'm not looking at strategies anymore. When I watch Papa now, I'm looking at how he's teaching. That's I'm teen time. I'm saying this. How he's teaching, how easy it is for him to flow, and all that. Let's all try and get into that spirit. And then I believe that when we all are up to that point, then the village can step up and move ahead. God bless us all.
Thank you for that, Eugene and Pastor Fred. Yeah, just to touch on the point of being visible. I mean, if you're trading and you're visible, that's amazing. I would love that. But even if you're not, still be visible. I mean, like now we have a women's group there. So like having quotations or like a small Zoom session, just speaking to ladies, or maybe some of the guys can be like, you know what, ladies are doing something. We men, we also want something. So you guys can also gather and say something, or drop some words of encouragement, or drop a small 15-second video saying hello. I mean, trading is great, but there are so many other aspects that can be covered as well that can still make you look every bit more powerful, even if you weren't a trader. So I really want to help press on that. But the thing I really want to excite you about is this new thing that's coming. It's like, to help with the GDP of Africa, there has to be people in business. And if that money is staying circulated within the confines of that country, that currency is going to be stronger. So what better way than to do that than having each person here own a Smurf Village Hub franchise? That's where we're looking to go in the next 6 to 12 months. And the details are going to be absolutely insane. I ran through the figures with Pastor Fred, and it was something crazy like, as a business owner, you could potentially earn around, I think it was like $8,000, like without even trying. Like that's without even trying. Like if you do like one boot camp a month, that's how much you'll be like, and that's net profit, not gross. And so what we want to be able to do is help everybody set that up. Because if you were able to get an additional 8K, not Naira, not cities, but US dollars to your pocket to be able to do what you've always wanted to do, that's going to be really, really powerful. And that can be an anthem to be able to challenge each country to to then go into say, hey, you know what, with this $8,000, I want to help franchise a food restaurant, or I want to be able to help with aviation services, or open martial arts institutes, or like all these things that we can do. And so I've really been, the reason why I've been quiet and off lately is because I'm looking at the framework to see how can you guys really, really benefit from this. Trust me, when we go through these details with you and which places can, like, you can go in teams, you can go in threes and say, look, we have 3 owners in this one franchise, this is what we want to do, it's going to be crazy. And so we're going to tweak 1 or 2 more things. I'll touch base with Mama Tonya as well, because I want to get some things from a Nigerian point of view, and once that's done, we're going to be running. And it's going to be a very, very exciting time for this ministry, because Forex is now becoming, it's not the forefront, it's just our background. We are business people with the mind of Christ within us. And we want to be able to do what Christ has told us to do, and that is to go out, to preach and to teach, but also to clothe the poor, to feed the homeless, and all that stuff. And so bear with us, especially within these next 2 or 3 months, because it's going to explode. And you never know. I mean, not to say it will be coming like an MLM, but imagine if every person in the Smurf village had the opportunity now to make multiple streams of income, starting with a very, very small price to get this started. So that's pretty much it there. Have I left anything out, guys? Solomon, do you have anything to say? Awele, Selikem, Roddy, anyone?
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Can I be heard?
Yes.
Okay. Papa, how are you doing?
Good, boss. How are you? Is that my Taekwondo partner?
Hello. Hello. Yeah. I think I want to really look at 2 things you mentioned. The web, each trade house hosting a web now. I think that is very interesting. In a way to shift that, move that pressure from you. I think it will help you a lot. I think I buy that idea is a good one. Let's try and spread the webinar on the trade houses, hosting once in a while.
Yeah.
Another thing, I'm not too, I've not really gone through the, the terms for the franchise, because I understand your vision. One thing about vision is there is something that must drive your vision. That's very, very important. And you're looking at this kind of franchise to be able to drive that. But it is something we have to look at very, very well. Look at everything about it, because we are trying things anyway. It's not that everything we mention must be perfect from the beginning. There should be room for trial, and we're able to amend, fix as we go on, because everything we are doing is new. We are trying to do forex in a different way.
Yeah.
So I think on the side of franchise, I will want to look at the items, the terms that has, and probably put in everything about that. I'm yet to look at it very well.
Yeah.
So I cannot personally say, okay, it's cool, it's not okay, this or this will need to be. I think if you because it's very, very important. It's not just saying money, that the other things that will come in on that aspect. So it's a good idea. It's a good idea. But we have to look at everything about it and know that everybody is on the same page. So I think that's what I need to contribute now.
Thank you, Sensei. Yeah, you're very right about that. I know this term is the first that you guys as a collective eldership have heard. But for a few weeks, it's myself and the board that have been really trying to iron things out. So this is not something that I'm saying and that is foreign to maybe Eugene or Fred or Mama Tonya. We've been in touch. We've actually been going through the first round of what the agreement should be and how it's going to be, like the terms, the conditions, the AB, like the lot. We've actually gone to that phase. We're just saying little bit pieces so we can let you know that we are working. And this is the future where we want to take the Smurf village. We want African excellence. We really want to improve the GDP of our countries, I should say. We want to be able to provide good lives for those who are working tirelessly in this village. And so the reason why I'm just putting it out in the atmosphere is to let you know that where we're trying to take this thing is bigger than just a forex movement. We actually want to change lives on many fronts. So thank you, Kevin. We are still going through, and it probably won't be a while until we actually roll this out, but we're just letting you guys know in advance. Yes, Mr. Solomon.
Okay, good evening to everybody. I want to thank the small village and Papa Smurf for the level we've gotten to, and the leaders that have been taking care of the small villages in their own localities. But one thing we should understand is that the beginning of everything is not always easy. The difficulties we are facing this time is expected because we are just trying to establish something. But if we remain focused and pursue our dream, in time to come, all these mistakes and problems we are facing now, especially the people that are leaking the videos and the information from the small village, with time, all those things will be controlled. And the momentum that we are being asked to, always keep the momentum going. This thing is just like I said, is something that we are starting. It's not everybody that is used to before now chatting and always on phone, discussing. But I just want to encourage us that we should try, if all of us, 30 something of us, we'll just spare out, even if it is 5 minutes of our time for the day to make contributions, you will see that the place will be busy. It mustn't be that we should be there 24 hours, but the little time, even if it is our break period, we should just chip in some things, respond to people's inquiries, and encourage people, look at people's charts, and from there we'll keep on growing gradually. When we continue doing it gradually, it will become part of us, and we will not see it as a big task any longer. Then coming to the live session is a good thing. At least that will help to reduce the load on Papa Smurf, and also give all of us as leaders the opportunity to develop ourselves. Because from the way we are looking at it and where small village is going, you will notice that it will get to a stage that even the current leaders will not be able to handle the job that will come in terms of boot camps and trainings and rest of them. So it will be a nice thing if we try to develop ourselves and be able to do this, so that we can always back up for other people that will be lacking in that aspect. Then for tomorrow, myself and Ebere will be hosting that tomorrow.
Hey, I'm excited.
Together with Awele, so from our trade house here in Lagos. We'll share the link, and we'll encourage you to invite your people and everybody to join the much we can. Then we expect other people to also do such some other time. Gradually, we'll get to the promised land. Thank you very much, and may God continue to strengthen all of us.
Thank you, Mr. Solomon. Oh, I've got goosebumps here. I don't know why. Thank you very much. On that note, to properly promote all the leaders and stuff, I want to give you guys maybe to the end of the month to maybe go to like a photo studio to take maybe like a half like a professional photo, maybe from the torso up or full length, so that when we're doing future live presentations, people will know the face to the name. And so it will kind of look very, very cute in that sense. But the final thing is that, as you all know, I was born and raised in Australia, and I'm trying to acclimatize to the African way of thinking and reasoning. So what I want to be able to do is, before I can do any form of cultural sensitive training, I need to sit down. It's going to take me a few weeks to do, and I want to be able to learn all of your respective cultures. So Yoruba, Igbo. I know there are a lot of other cultures that are there that I'm not aware of that I need to be educated on. I know there's Shona in the Bele. I need to learn that. Zulu, Xhosa, all of those things. Like, I need to be able to get in and learn properly. Otherwise, when I'm translating it to the people I've come from, they're going to feel the disconnect. And I know that it's an area. I know a lot of you have been able to talk to me about it, and I know that it's a jabbing point for some, where there's a cultural clash. I need to be able to be the mediator between the Western world and us. So what I want to be able to do is, I want to be able to book a time. If you're a Ga, if you're an Ewe, if you're a Fanti, from BA, if you're from the north, I need to know, because I've only been in Africa 9 months and I don't know much at all. So I want to be able to quicken my cultural sensitivity training, and then package it in a way that if we do get more Westerners as leaders, this is what they're coming into, rather than, you know what's been happening lately. Okay, so I'll inbox each and every one of you, and we can book a time either on Zoom, or you can send me a voice message and say, okay, this is how we do things. Some places the left hand is acceptable. In Ghana, God forbid, you know what I mean? Some places it's acceptable to chew loudly or slurp loudly. Some other places you need to chew in silence. Some places, like, you know what I mean? And you'll find that what's acceptable maybe in Zimbabwe, you come to Ghana, it's not acceptable here. So I really need to get to the meat of, okay, what is a general way to be able to introduce people to us? How will they be able to speak to us in a way that won't be culturally disrespectful, or even just disrespectful to us? And then from there, I can then educate them to be able to assimilate well. Is that cool with you guys?
Yeah.
So, yes, Awele, did you want to say something? Or is that hand up just to say support or resistance? All right. Does anyone else have anything to add? I've recorded this, so I'll be able to show it to you guys in our private group. But are we all cool? Can we post our Telegram group links of our respective trade houses and get that up and running? Anything you need in terms of announcements, what day, when, how, you can forward that to me or forward that to Luca. If you want, just forward it to me and I'll forward it to Luca. It's okay. And we can get our system to be able to run from there. And I'll also try and spend time with individual trade houses, whether it be online or in person. So I'm going to try and work towards that as well, to show my face small. But if there are no other contributions, I hope everybody is cool. I hope it's not going to be one of those things where we had a meeting, no one said anything, and then there's a side meeting that takes place, and they talk about things I didn't like. I'm playing with you guys. All right. Awele, did you want to say something? Say that your mic is... No? All right, cool. All right, well, thank you guys. I'll export this and I'll load it up. Thank you all for your time. I didn't want to make it too long. I do apologize if I ruined your weekly schedule, but we are on the up and up. So God bless you all. I love you all, and have a great night.